Awindiri Market is one of upcoming markets in Adjumani Town Council, which started in a very humble way in the early 2000s. It has become the fastest growing market among others like Jepako, Cheshire Market opposite Oasis Dynasty, to the extent of swallowing well-established markets like Agoshushu and Adjumani Mini Market. Each operation is unique by its character of being at the convergence of road, making it a busy selling point for the interactions of buyer and seller. First, how did the name Awindiri emerge? Could it be the name of the village or the owner of the land? To answer the questions, we did speak to some individuals about the origin or the background of Awindiri Market.
Customer karibu. Sana keki.
Awindiri ni arigari ya maruga Ameri regi chakule tari na ligo ya atarasu. Ameri na amabadi chala na tazidera malakoga na hivi sija makarna hamebera. Ama badini asikina kaza amenga amiuringwa maguzia karibu na ibusi landlord amaridiane tomato aduanga ya dieru ajo muzei sasa dani nini lindri amalele amitakala kari sasa oyezaro amanira pia nyama ikote Isu kujura choriani dene amevo nikuru dua ka tieru avoir mitendika dia oye suru tama voto anantaka rivo vozuri ivo atakseri nzungu kwa malende dira nungina kankarna amaba sabu adua chamare de na ivo setua ba amale karare iruki amaenda
Kazoi tak isule aku maramba ngone ino kena manyo male ngwa itimi ini esimarile sile aku atiro kayo bana lele si around 2011 si landlord na ado na lele si na ngo andre sukoni oro nyoi ngone ni mari dua ni compound kai ngone andro onre Tobana na api kama nevu za wafunzi ni sura Amanda kwanza madini ni treasurer commander ya 2011 na banana was already transferred in that's for 2011 is sura Maria ndio muombe ni pale show they about over 20 kwanza sura Judi anuari no wa eto amana izinai amani ya mandanga yang mama kae sore ko nyama mare so iri mombe pani ya lindri ja saya la iri lindri ao orizo mombe pai ka tamai mai ku balaka ayo no dia mari tendensia kai joke dia tendensia so dini raya ta mombe pani you think that you money will feel comfortable privacy yako hiyo hiyo masikaza kwa hiyo iko ndo muombe na paibu hayo okay kwa wewe service market ya titiano au nyado tano kladisao kisi area eto hari di kera bani ya tukure kopi ya jibane wale ndo dakani taka sukuri sadi you are Awindiri lady. It is a nickname. Daddy. Misu. Just lucky he looked at Kakarungu, Awindiri. Then I ask even as I Awindiri Queen. Look very good. Awindiri, Usa Mabini, Awindiri, Mabi, Awindiri. It is is not there. Why do you call this place Awindiri? This is a majority in Ba Kamada Awindiri. It's just a name by the way. Otherwise, this village is very very ang very nico kono pada Awindiri ya kukufu anenda kini uleng bare ane Awindiri koko la ni tema biri ko ngoni ko na just nikine.
Many stakeholders mount pressure on Adjumani Town Council to have Awindiri Market closed because of its location and that it disorganizes other vendors from well-established markets. However, the town clerk said,
we had a lot of pressure from so many stakeholders to have Awindiri closed because it is not it's not a planned market. It is at a confluence of some roads, like a road that goes to the mission, then the road going to the stadium. So you realize that it is at a confluence of those two roads, at a junction of those two roads. So it is a busy point. So there's been a lot of pressure on us to have that market closed. But as urban authority, aware of the fact that how a market emerges, we did not close that market.
We asked him why have they declined to close the market.
Because of so many reasons. One of it is because markets always emerge due to forces of demand and supply. So once a market emerges, closing it may not be the best solution. You need it to plan how to improve the infrastructure of that market. If resources can permit, even developing it into a fully fledged market. So that is one of the reasons why we do not close the market. Besides, most of the vendors, there are peasants who are women who have been struggling day out, day night out, day in to make a living. So closing that market will indirectly be, closing the source of living for those women. And with issues of women, is the most vulnerable class of the people. Therefore, closing their source of living will be, will be like creating a big problem in the society. Because these women, the women you see in Awindiri, they borrow money from the circles, they borrow money from the banks, and they are the ones providing food in their homes. They are the ones paying school fees for their children, providing almost all basic aspects of life to their families. So closing that market will be closing their source of living. So that's
Awindiri consists of three types of vendors: women who deal in foodstuffs, shopkeepers dealing in general merchandise, and wholesalers dealing in both foodstuff and merchandise, but on a large scale. It attracts vendors as far as eastern, central, western Uganda, and other districts like Arua, Amuru, Moyo, Gulu, dealing in agricultural products like tomatoes, onions, cabbage, Irish potato, matoke, among others. Also from the neighboring countries like South Sudan and Democratic Republic of Congo.
Okay.
Ini bisa antara bara.
Awindiri is a half-day market dealing in foodstuffs, mainly in the morning hours when business is full and subsiding in the late afternoon, with the shop attendants dealing in merchandise in the evening. The stakeholders of Awindiri market includes the landlord, the vendors, the customers, and the urban authority, who have different roles and responsibility to play in the growth and development of Awindiri market. Its fast growth is attributed to its wider customer base, both from within and outside the district, but most significant due to abrupt population surge due to influx of refugees from the neighboring South Sudan since 2014. From the initial population of 20 to now 40 to 50 people, creating a higher demand for foodstuffs and therefore need to feed the current population. Some vendors attribute its growth to a low market dues they pay once their goods are assessed by the officials, since most of them are considerate, while others say the goods once brought to the market are bought all within a shortest period of time, making it a good selling point.
Pilere ba bu kata tajure ya nako dila kara dila mimi kata mi toto aje pilere se bakwa inera dal falalo na mi nana kata usbuka se aje pilere te kata ko loga chido ya dola kana ne kala sala kako ko te tira ko oza su ko buro rebe sura erer nini ko ta sa tu diri tagate ya ko dia kuti so ba tikola kaka tikit kila ka ko le sa zina ngira alo di ya ko su ko buro gara ko so ba Awindiri makwa mane adura nza tijo sene kwa bangu kemu kabisa na sene
rame atazira Awindiri yani Awindiri bakata zira ko population nza enga kabile zira sangana de ang ngodia nyita zembe ya duse sara ngobe yo ko sisa tujara
Moses Gatu. I'm from Bale. I'm dealing with fresh Irish, cabbages and onion. Awindiri, we found Awindiri is a market that has many customers, and we usually sell our things at a fair price. Yeah, that's why we like Awindiri market.
I got it a better market because it's more than even the main market. It's where people come from, like vendors come from the village, and I think it's growing rapidly because there are many countries and many different tribes around. You know, like in Adjumani, because of the weather, the temperature is high. They don't do agriculture as such for trade or what. So we export the things from Eastern Uganda. So we bring it here because there is market, and the market is high. Okay, the demand of things are high because of the, as per now, it's because of the temperature, the weather condition. Because now grains are down in the market, so we export things like these grains from Eastern and it's better.
Cheap food, cheap everything. Yes. If you need cheap things, you go to at a lower price. Whether you need fish, whether you need farm produce, it's at a slightly cheaper price. Yes. And interestingly, Awindiri is attracting vendors as far as Kabale, as far as Mbale. If you go there, don't be surprised to find onions from Kabale being vended by vendors from Kabale. Don't be surprised to find vendors from Bugisu, Bale, vending iris potatoes, vending cabbages, vending tomatoes. So you can see the role that Awindiri is playing in the economy of this country.
However, some customers we did speak to claim that most of the goods, especially foodstuffs, are cheap and affordable by almost every day for a day's meal. Being located at the convergence of road, making it a busy point than any other place within the district, even compared to other well-established markets like Agosusu, Adjumani mini market, among others. Being a half-day market, every morning, foodstuffs are displayed attracting villagers, hotel operators, restaurants, eating joints, as well as vendors from other markets flooding into a full capacity. The most predominant items sold in these markets are foodstuffs, particularly vegetable, aquatic species like fish, and some crop roots. Merchandise are on display in some of the shops and kiosks, as well as clothes, among others. A number of stakeholders are involved in a day-to-day running and management of Awindiri, with each having specific roles and responsibility to play within their jurisdictions. This includes Adjumani Town Council, also known as the Urban Authority, the tenderer, landlord, vendors, customers, and the local people.
He called out in a loud voice to the four angels to whom God had given the power to damage the earth, the sea, or the trees. Malaika dioyo tere, malaika suo kuesuka, rupangati, bumerito kweto, rival authority, ojoa iniki volokiti bumerito ku, kweto ku, obakoluki, ikari sotiluza, rupanga ititi andatine obe.
What is also true about Awindiri market is that the land where the market operates belongs to some individuals. We asked the Urban Authority about the agreement and whether there is a plan to own the land as Urban Authority. This is what he said.
Right from the year 2005 or 4 there, we have an agreement with the landlord of that market. We told the landlord, yes, your land has now been turned into a market, but the law does not warrant you to collect the revenues from there, because the revenues there are supposed to be public money, and there are laws regarding utilization of public funds, and therefore we stopped him from collecting revenues from them. However, we have an agreement, and this agreement is like a win-win situation. This is where we had told him, yes, we are the authority, we are the government in place, you are the landlord, why don't we allow people to operate from here? And then you also benefit in form of getting a share of the revenues. So the agreement is to the effect that the landlord is entitled to 200 shillings from each vendor.
However, the landlord confirmed to us their agreement concerning the money collected during a selling day.
Those people who are under the vendors, lakana maita laka italiao pitazana marera angomasi uso basi banda kamasi They don't have any interference with me about what you skin na direct na Bamari. They are direct. I don't know see. Traders use a Pacarca commodity access. So lances here and I really work. Use city use direct.
We asked him whether in the future he can give the land to the authority.
That's the end of the news.
The town clerk deep-rooted to us a plan to acquire the land, but in case this does not go as planned,
look for alternative site, because as I say, that is more or less an established market. In other words, I'm not foreseeing a scenario of closing that market. The best we can do is to shift it to a nearby location. And I know we can still get alternative site around there. But what I also know is that I've told you before that the landlord has not had any of such imagination. He's comfortable, in other words. He's also now making money. His lifestyle has improved because of the standard of living has improved. I believe so, because of the presence of that market there. So I'm not foreseeing a scenario where he can one day wake up and say, no, this market must stop operating from here.
we also learned that Awindiri is a main source of revenue to Adjumani Town Council through giving Awindiri an Adjumani mini market on tender. During our interactions with the tenderer, we asked him about their agreement, but he declined to give us the clear figure.
We are paying town council. Actually, that one is our issue, town council, but the contract, you don't issue how much you are paying to the county council or how much town council. That is our confidential, and it's my agreement between me and town council. Because if I add it out, this is a tender, as you know. Tomorrow another person also need to apply. I may also need to retain my contract. So we say, when this man is paid, town council this amount, then let me do this amount. So it's like a bid.
Later, the town clerk told us the actual amount for the tender.
By extension, Awindiri is part of the main market. happens whenever we are tendering out in main market, we tender Awindiri. We make sure that Awindiri is a part of the main market. So whatever the tenderer pays us is inclusive of Awindiri. And on a positive note, our reserve price for that market is 12.5 million. In fact, it is now our major source of revenue.
Initially, the agreement stipulated that the sanitation was to be catered for by the landlord, but this was not effective enough due to large population. The garbage became a problem and the few pig littering became filled up, and this prompted the town council to reach a new agreement with tenderer.
We are doing well. We don't have much challenges, except we have challenges in sanitation. This one's the issue of town council. People were complaining about sanitation and rubbish collection. I always report to them. And if I report it, they are complying for it. But what I'm seeing, we need enough sanitation there, about 5 stands of toilet, drainable one, which can help both female and male.
The tenderer also employed about 7 to 9 people for effective garbage management, both the main market and Adjumani market too. Urinary, rubbish pit, among others, are some of the response made by the tenderer with the help of urban authority. The vendors also have their own committee. This consists of chairperson, secretary, treasury, and security officials, among others, that look into issues that arises, but both actors in the management cooperates. Adjumani Town Council, also known as Urban Authority, is behind all other actors to secure smooth running of the activity, including offering security, health, sanitation of the market, planning, among others. Just like other developing markets, Awindiri faces a number of challenges. This includes rubbish collection management, lack of capital to improve, especially for the vendors, lack of shelter or shades for the vendors, and others vendors attribute the challenges as.
So my request to the government of Uganda, if they can afford for us, they should just provide for us a shade warehouse for that selling, because we are even suffering with sun heat. Yes, and our place is not even enough. If they can extend for us, it should be a bit big, because our customers, they are just looking for a space for selling. There are some guys from other places, they are also coming here to just sell, but now there's no place for us to sell.
But the challenge of Awindiri market is that the taxes are very high. That's the challenge.
Tribalism. West Nilers, they take us like as if we are not Ugandans. They're like, why are you here, and why do you move from far away, miles, to here, to our district, forgetting this is the same country, same nation, we are one people.
Kazi Amamisari dia bancarere. Mapalaka sida zesu gango rare. Yesu akare. Jomeli silinya mameri. Kitwete inga. Ameri sepe. Abiri kozamara. Abana mapalo nyata ile samanya.
Tama susuzola kare. Alo kioskini. Baro reko. Oba tazika neta. Kona tukona. Oba amebuga ni awele ni garwa aki. Iswe okuga sabaka tazika. Renye ndragare ni ngobala ka. Renye asitare lako. Gana abazi asitara oke.
With no doubt that the speed at which Awindiri is developing, many hope that in the next 5 to 10 years, Awindiri will not only be a big market, but a regional market, if all requests from the local government is fulfilled. And this includes acquiring the land from the landlord, constructing the market, building sites, providing supports to the vendor, especially women who are the majority.
Lo vikolo yoko kwa keso ko rikolo tedi ni ko kolpa ka dionre aba tira meso ko garare retwe nini tota saziara su ko kachapi ya ko man gardo tiri su ko gare isole o ba dona ngati tondo la kasa ngati ni tiri yesu la kara
Ongo tama ile su game tirire. Soko rene ezo oporo ongo ka westina ilia olo alonzo wane. Ko baki resiti ni ko baki batenda rasiti ko titu nzako kebe bebu gare obai press atalide agaba customer ko amala jo baki tanenga kebe akaireri ba vurugati enga kabaru dasika cho wango sokoni ko zani le mewane talajeli ka kusiongo aisa kesuki profit garo was oba sokorere talakare amali atwese sokore ya tare kenya regana sokore karere bati ko ba lo ko la ko rupe ai kebe karere ko sokore nera
Via Madrio kotor sia Awindiri ko tasoko paka. Buru angwanya ndrele ba lele suku na state ko tala kareka. Awindiri ni ka envoizo Awindiri ni talatela kadi ari suku stili yani ko Awindiri ni talatela ari aku nyanya silinge elifalu sisa ni tajipa kanyinya sasi ono. Sima Awindiri ni ko zomi
Tide watching. They should stop just sitting home. They can come. Whether you have 5,000 in Awindiri, you can clean up with greens. Yeah, to push on life than begging, just being a beggar at home. Yeah, it's better you come to the market. 5,000 in Awindiri market, you can even start a business.
This report is compiled by Allan Amanyara from Adjumani.